What is up, my viewers? Spang here, spending some time with my family on the holidays, but taking a moment to bring you one of my replays. It is a battle in the TOG 2, standard battle on Cliff, and we're gonna have some fun here. If you can tell, well, I've had a little bit of fun family socializing time, which means, of course, had a little bit to drink, but what better tank to commentate in such a state than the TOG 2? I mean, it's really one of the most derpy looking tanks in the game. It is an odd vehicle to play, for sure. And in this battle, I am up against, well, one of the TOG 2's most formidable nemesis? I don't know what the proper term is, but you get what I'm saying. Arch rivals, probably a bit more, not even a rival. I mean, so anyway, all that aside, the KV2. If you couldn't piece together what I was saying, it is the KV2. Also, artillery isn't very nice in the TOG, a big, hunking, slow beast of a heavy tank. Now, if you haven't bought this tank, I actually cannot recall if they are still selling it. It is something I have not looked into for a while. I don't really keep track of premium tanks all that closely on which are still being sold and which are not. I do know last I checked the Type 59 was removed from the store a long time ago from the North American server, and some of the more premium, the limited matchmaking premium tanks, such as the TOG 2, such as the Jagd Tiger 88, such as a few others, are being removed from the premium shop simply due to the fact Wargaming is trying to move away from limited matchmaking, the premium preferred matchmaking. I believe preferred matchmaking is the actual correct term. But right now you can tell heavy tanks KV-85, KV-2 moving up on the hill right where I'm going. It is important to note the TOG 2, not the KV-2, the TOG 2 is a very odd vehicle to play, and not many people know how to play it appropriately. Given the fact that it is a slow vehicle, you typically want to stay within view range of your base. You want to go to a more central location on the map, one where you don't have to move a lot, but you have a good reference, a good angle on a lot of different sections of the map. Now here I'm just trying to get to this wall, this building, so I'm less exposed. I didn't really want to get spotted out in the open by those light tanks, and if I was, I want to be able to hide from artillery behind this hill. Another thing to take into account when playing the TOG, and as you can tell right now, the battle's kind of progressing. My team's going up the 1-2 line pretty aggressively and meeting a lot of enemy tanks there, a lot of medium tanks that decided to go straight up into that center donut area, that center hill. Crusader coming up on the hill and trying to spot some of our vehicles, looking like tanks are dying left and right for both teams. It is pretty even at this point in time. Enemy team having a somewhat significant hit point advantage. The enemy team coming up right over here, the Achilles, definitely going to duke it out with me. I'm trying to angle my armor best I can. TOG 2, again, not really known for its armor. The only thing it's really known for is having a lot of hit points, therefore being able to take quite a bruising. But because its armor is so thin, a KV-2 with a derp gun can really punish it. And I do believe it can, I know for a fact it can see tier 7 as well. And so when you're fighting tier 7 vehicles, such as the SU-152, also with the derp gun, you typically tend to hate life. This KV-85 will die very shortly to me. As you can tell, TOG 2, good rate of fire, good DPM, and a lot of hit points, so it can take a beating and keep on, well, I can't think of a good rhyme for that. I should have just used the standard, take a bruising and keep on cruising. But right now, I am having to do what I was talking about earlier, which is just hide behind this house, hold the line for my team, try and keep that M41 HMC alive as the enemy team proceeds to push around the lighthouse hill, the outpost, or whatever you want to call it. Different people call it different things, of course, as with many parts of this game. And this Leopard light tank trying to spot some things in the middle, but he gets spotted himself, and he will pay for it. Will I reload before he gets away? I will. Getting kill number 3. And a lot of the enemy team still kind of unspotted, now having to do my best to hide from artillery, recognizing that I really am somewhat exposed here. Artillery hitting the house I was just hiding behind, and really being the only vehicle holding the line, asking my team for some help. But the HMS TOG refuses to sink without a fight. And that Crusader, thinking he's going to try and shoot me, my big butt is hanging out there, but he is not able to pen me from this range, and I will get a little backup from our Hesser ally. But enemy artillery certainly not loving me, and really the only thing the enemy team has left going for it besides the KV-2 and the AT-2. Now, those unfamiliar with the AT-2, I do recall it being a somewhat robust tier 5, and right here I've got to play very carefully against this KV2. I don't believe he has the upgraded turret, but he certainly has the derp gun. As you can tell, he takes a shot and it does miss, and because of that miss, I continue to live. You can't sink this ship, sir, especially when you fire that closely. It is somewhat of a surprise. I do believe at best he had a 50% chance to hit, because, I mean, even though it was that close a range, the KV2 does have a very large amount of inaccuracy. In the AT2 deciding he's going to come up, I'm trying my best to hide behind this hill, but also recognize I don't want to get shot by that AT2. I am a potential one shot, I believe. I've never driven the AT2 actually, so I'm not quite sure what its average damage is. But I know, in my mind, knowing its tier, knowing its tank, it is a tank destroyer, it most likely will take 1 or 2 shots to kill me. But I'm playing a little bit recklessly here, as I recognize the opportunity to get a shot off, as it is concerned with the Elk AMX, and see a real good chance for me to get a kill. Alright, apologies everyone, I had a little bit of an issue with my computer there, but as I was saying, trying to kill this AT2, recognizing an opportunity to pull out and get a shot off for free, dealing over, well, if the mods hadn't messed up, dealing just under 2,000 hit points of damage at this point in time. Leopard is clearly not alive, and the only vehicle left alive for this enemy team is the artillery. So I made my final stand, the enemy team trying desperately to kill me, but really taking it to them and surviving probably a lot longer than I should have due to a bit of RNG, but also intelligent play. As the TOG, you cannot find yourself out in an open area exposed just because of your size and your lack of mobility. It will mean the end for you, and a lot of people seem to have a hard time realizing that. But I think this really demonstrates one of the effective ways to play it, which is carefully and cautiously and very intentionally. You have to be very intentional with where you drive. You have to think ahead, because you won't have time to be like, oh, I need to move and get to the spot. You really need to foresee ahead in the match as best as possible, which comes with experience and also just a little bit of intelligent gameplay. But rambling on for more than enough, let's go through those post-game stats and see how everyone else did. And looking at said stats, we see I earned myself Mastery Badge, First Class, and a High Caliber. Certainly nothing to scoff at. Quite a few pins and ribbons, of course, Fire for Effect, Duelist, Hand of God, and Bruiser. I will note that Fire for Effect can be something somewhat difficult to get for this vehicle. It's not exactly an easy tank to survive in. Yes, it has a lot of hit points. It makes it very intimidating for a lot of tier 6 vehicles, with the exception of the KV2, the now existent tier 6, I can't remember what it's called, but the tier 6 heavy for the Japanese line, and other vehicles such as the SU-100, the SU-152. Vehicles like that can deal with this just fine, because they have the big derp guns, and if they're running those high explosive rounds, they will wreck you. But it does make it somewhat difficult to get Fire for Effect in this vehicle. If you get 1,400 on average points of damage per match in the TOG 2, if you're a 1-to-1 ratio of damage with the TOG 2, damage given to damage taken, you're doing really well for yourself. I'm just going to say that outright. But seeing how everyone else did, earned just over 2,000 hit points of damage done. KV85 on my team doing quite well for himself, and then just kind of falling off for both teams. A lot of 0 damage contributors, but what else can you expect, especially for that Martyr 38 ton? He must have just had some really bad luck going for him to get into that match. I do feel a bit sorry for him. And the enemy team, just that KV2 sorely doing very poorly, actually. He had a chance to kill me and get some damage in, and he just absolutely whiffed it. Not exactly his fault, although of course he really probably should have waited to aim and guaranteed a hit, or at least guaranteed a better chance of hitting you than turn around the corner, fire a shot when your reticle is fully as big as possible, and hope it hits. But certainly part of his fault and part RNG's fault. My team definitely doing a bit to help, I think, by our large margin. Even if I had died to that KV2, we still would have won. But otherwise, I think we would have lost, because I did a good job holding that line, keeping enemy tanks occupied. My team would have had some trouble on base and maybe gotten capped out. We might have lost if I had not gone where I had gone, but because I saw a lot of my team wasn't going that way, that is what pretty much solidified my decision to go that way. And that's how you gotta really play this game. If you want a better chance of winning, you really gotta assess the situation per match and make the calls accordingly. You can't just play the same way every single match on every single map. That you can't just play in an isolated vacuum saying, well, I'm going to play my way and everyone else better just play around me. You got to play intelligently if you want to win more often. And if you want to do better. And I think it's more fun to play intelligently, like playing the players in the game, playing responsively to players in the game rather than just playing the game regardless of how other people actually react in the match. Still, rant aside, I'll get off my soapbox here. We're going to see 16 shots fired, 15 of those hit, and all 15 penetrated, dealing a total damage, as we already noted, of over 2,000. Not a whole lot of distance traveled because, well, certainly not going to be the case, but hopefully we will see some better gameplays. Oh, I shouldn't say better. More gameplays of the TOG 2 in the future. It is a hard vehicle to get some really good matches out of, just due to its nature. But there's no such thing as too many TOG 2 games. Let's just be honest here. The TOG 2 is such a fun and quirky vehicle that if you play it right, it can be a good, interesting commentary, in my opinion. I mean, I'm a little biased. I love the TOG 2. So, it's, that is my opinion. I'm not saying it as fact. Still, take it for what you will. But anyway, that's really going to wrap it up for this video. Thank you ever so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a like. If you want to see more, definitely subscribe. And if you got a replay you think I should do a commentary on, description has instructions on how to do that and a whole lot of other stuff in the description as well. If you got something you want to suggest and share for my channel, comment section, do it now, whatever. If you don't, your choice too. But anyway, this has been Spang. Until next time, I am clearly just oh so professional.
MLG Unsinkable.